Hey guys, quickly before I begin, I would just like to remind you guys that I am a beginner in this YouTube stuff, so I really appreciate every like and every subscription you guys give me. I do these videos once a week where I talk about the games industry and other things I find interesting about games. And what I really want to create with these videos is to start a discussion. So I really appreciate if you guys put your comments down below on what you think about this video. If I am wrong about something, please let me also know. I am open to feedback, and I think if I'm wrong about something, it's always a chance to learn more. And just interacting with my videos helps really with the algorithm. So that's all I have to say. Now let's get back to the weird shit I'm talking about this week. Okay, bye. Hey, what's up? I'm in a different location this time. Hopefully, it does not matter. Probably won't. So today I want to talk to you about shiny Pokemon, and to do that, I kind of made this shiny Pokemon Iceberg. This is going to be a bit of a different video than I usually make. This is just going to be purely about cool facts about shiny Pokemon, and I decided to do it in this like iceberg format because I thought it was cool. It's kind of this trend I have been seeing on YouTube that people make this iceberg meme template and then talk about a certain subject using that image. And basically, what it means that you have a bunch of facts about a certain topic, in this case, shiny Pokemon. And on the top of the iceberg, you have the commonly known facts about that subject. And the further down you go, the more obscure and less known these facts become. And it goes for my iceberg as well. I have 5 tiers in my iceberg. First of which is like casual Pokemon fan. So stuff that is known about shiny Pokemon from the eyes of a casual Pokemon fan, does not play those games too seriously. And the next step is hardcore Pokemon fan, what hardcore Pokemon fans might know about shiny Pokemon. Then we have novice shiny hunter, so people who hunt shiny Pokemon for a hobby but are kind of like beginners in it, stuff that they might know. Then after that is experienced shiny hunters, so people who have hunted shiny Pokemon and know a bit more about shiny Pokemon. These are the facts that they might know. And then the last tier is called You Have No Life, but do not worry, neither do I. And that is like the most obscure stuff that I found. But enough said, let's begin unraveling this shiny Pokemon iceberg, shall we? As you saw, there are shiny Pokemon plushes on the background, so I thought it was neat. So the first thing in the casual Pokemon fan section is shiny Pokemon Alls. A lot of people know that shiny Pokemon are a rarer variant of regular Pokemon that are just differently colored, and that's it. People usually know that the rarity of shiny Pokemon is about 1 in 4,000. That's all. Then next we have Go Community Day. This I put here because Pokemon Go is popular and a lot of people hunt shinies in Pokemon Go. And Pokemon Go Community Days are these about monthly events where one certain Pokemon is highlighted, and also the shiny odds for that specific Pokemon are increased by a lot. I think the odds are about 1 in 25, so that is pretty good compared to like the 1 in 4,000 that I just talked about. So those shinies are very, very common to see. And if you really play Pokemon Go a lot and you want shiny Pokemon, Pokemon Go community days are definitely on your radar and you participate in every one of them. Next up is the Masuda method, which is one of the most common shiny hunting methods. In this method, introduced in Generation 4, you have to breed a foreign Pokemon or a Pokemon from another region with a Pokemon from a different region. Basically, if you have a Japanese Ditto and you breed it with an English Pikachu, the chances are very much higher that the egg that hatches will be shiny. This is about 1 in 1,300 if I remember correctly. The shiny odds have changed a bit for Masuda method during generations, but you have the whole list here in the video, not explained because I did not do enough research for this one. Next up is Red Gyarados, which is one of the most famous shiny Pokemon because it appears in the main story of Pokemon Gold and Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, and is also referenced in Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. Red Gyarados is just a shiny Gyarados, which is, red, and you encounter it in the Lake of Rage area. So, yeah, it is a guaranteed shiny Pokemon encounter, and that's why it's one of the most famous ones. It has also appeared in like the anime, the manga, and blah blah blah. Shiny hunting, as I kind of mentioned with Masuda method, shiny hunting is what some people do when playing Pokemon. They just go and hunt for these shinies, and yeah, that is what they do as a hobby. Some people like to live stream shiny hunting, and some just do it for fun. Like I do. I sometimes shiny hunt for fun because I do find it relaxing, and that's why I kind of wanted to talk about this topic today. I actually got this bad boy like last week. It was really cool. Shinies in the anime. As I mentioned, Red Gyarados being one, but other shiny Pokemon have also appeared in the anime. One of the most famous cases, aside from, again, Red Gyarados, is the shiny Noctowl that is actually captured by the main character, Ash Ketchum, in the Johto Adventures saga of the anime. Shinies in TCG. TCG has grown in popularity by a lot within the last year, and a lot of people want shiny Pokemon as Pokemon cards. I have some on the background over there. I'll actually go see. An example of a shiny Pokemon in the TCG is this shiny Kyogre that I have. Pretty cool. And then final thing in this section is shiny events. Shiny Pokemon are often used as events or for people to be interested in the Pokemon that they give away. Some of the famous ones for shiny Pokemon are the 3 legendary dogs in Generation 4, and one of the most recent shiny Pokemon that has been given as event is the shiny Zeraora. Okay, moving on to the next section, which is the hardcore Pokemon fan section. First fact here is that the odds changed in Generation 6. The shiny odds used to be actually a bit higher than they are now. In Generations 2 to Generations 5, the shiny hunting odds used to be 1 in 8,192, but in Generation 6, in the X and Y games, the shiny odds were changed to 1 in 4,096, so halved the odds. Then, next up, we are going to go through a lot of shiny hunting methods. First of which is in Generation 6, which is the Friend Safari. It is an area that you can access to after beating the game, where you get access to these like small safaris with 2 to 3 Pokemon in each. And the safari that you can encounter depends on the friends you have in your 3DS. You get 2 Pokemon if you have any friend on your 2D or 3DS, and you get 3 Pokemon if that player also has played Pokemon X or Y. And the shiny odds there are just a lot higher. They are about 1 in 500, and there's nothing else you need to do to increase those odds. They are just 1 in 500. It's a very easy place to get shinies in. Next up is one of the recent shiny hunting methods, which is Dynamax Adventures, which was introduced in Generation 8 DLC Crowned Tundra. This is basically a method where you rent out Pokemon and you have to go through 4 Dynamax battles and capture the Pokemon. And after you have completed the Dynamax Adventures, or after you lose, you can check out those Pokemon that you caught, and those Pokemon have an increased shiny odds, being 1 in 300 and 1 in 100 for the shiny charm. The shiny charm I will talk about later. But yes, what is special about this shiny hunting method is that when you first see and capture the Pokemon, you do not see if they are shiny, but you can only do it afterwards. Pretty interesting. Next up is wide area events in Generation 8. Wide area is this big area in Generation 8, one of the biggest new things that was introduced in the generation. And in the wide area, you have these Dynamax battles. And the types of battles you can have in the wide area depend on, the weather, the time of the year, and sometimes you have like these events going on in the wild area, and some of these events have increased shiny odds for specific Pokemon. Recently, we had Lilligant being very high odds in the wild area, and then other stuff we have had is, for example, like Magikarp, Alchemy, and I think like during Christmas time we had Delipad appearing as shiny in the wild area. Next shiny hunting method we are going to cover is SOS battles. This is a method in Generation 7 games, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Sun and Moon, where in wide battles, if you leave a Pokemon with very low amount of HP, they have a chance for calling for help, and that help being of course another Pokemon. If you knock out that helping Pokemon, another Pokemon appears, and if you do that for long enough, if you have a chain, then the shiny odds slowly increase, and then the helping Pokemon has a better chance of appearing as shiny. Interesting to note, you can use Adrenaline Orb to make the Pokemon more likely to call for help. It's recommended to use Full Swipe or something, and if you put a status condition on that Pokemon, they cannot call for help. And also, not all Pokemon can call for help, and some Pokemon, when they call for help, another Pokemon might appear. Next up is Ultra Wormholes. This is only in the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon games, a shiny hunting method, I guess. It is kind of this minigame where you go through the Doctor Who space-time continuum, and the further down you go, you will encounter these like wormholes. When you go through the wormholes, you will end up seeing a Pokemon, and the further down you go, the higher the shiny odds become. There is a limited amount of Pokemon that you can encounter with this method, and it does not apply for any legendary. So if you end up going to a wormhole that ends up in a legendary encounter, including the Ultra Beasts, those will not have increased shiny odds. Okay, Shiny Charm, as I mentioned before, it is a key item introduced in the Generation 5 games, where if you complete the Pokedex, you get this Shiny Charm, and that Shiny Charm just makes it so that from this point onwards, when you obtain this item, shiny Pokemon just appear much more commonly. And it is much more common, as you can see, the odds right here. Catch Combo is another shiny hunting method, this time in the Generation 7 Let's Go games, not in Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon, just Let's Go games. And here you have to capture a certain Pokemon 31 times in a row, and then use a lure, and shiny Pokemon appear much more frequently. This does not apply just for the Pokemon you have been comboing, but for all Pokemon around you. But with a catch combo, or also the Pokemon that you were comboing just becomes much more common to appear. But you can still get like other Pokemon easily. I have a dozen chances that I have gotten using this method and caught them, of course. Next up is shiny locks. It's a bit hated. People do not like shiny locks. Basically, what this means that some Pokemon, in games are coded not to be shiny. Not You can't encounter them as shiny in one way or another. And usually this goes for legendaries like Zekrom and Reshiram. When you battle them and you can catch them at the end of the game, they cannot be shiny. And also like the starters in the beginning of Sword and Shield cannot be shiny. Zacian and Zamazenta cannot be shiny. But interestingly enough, if you just breed uh, like the Generation 8 starters, they can still be shiny that way, but you just can't reset for them in the beginning of the game, which is kind of odd if you ask me. Next up is chaining, a shiny hunting method introduced in Generation 4 Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and then also appeared later on in X and Y. Here you have to use Poke Radar, a key item, to encounter certain Pokemon, and when you encounter that Pokemon, defeat them or capture them 40 times in a row, you have a better chance of encountering a shiny patch. And if you go to the shiny patch of grass, you are guaranteed to encounter a shiny. And I think when you get to a chain of 40, the rate of shiny patches appearing is 1 in 200. And again, if you go to that shiny patch, you are guaranteed a shiny Pokemon of that Pokemon that you were chaining. Horde encounters are a shiny hunting method introduced in Generation 6 games, and this is in X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It's basically like regular encountering, except Horde battles, you encounter 5 Pokemon at the same time. You can trigger Horde battles by using the move Sweet Scent or using the item Honey. And as I said, when you use these, you can encounter 5 Pokemon at the same time, so shinies just come to you much faster than just having regular encounters. Okay, next up is full odds hunting, which is just shiny hunting but doing no specific shiny hunting methods to increase the odds, but just hunting with the regular 1 in 8,000 or 1 in 4,000 odds. And something these full odds hunters do is soft reset, which means that you just reset the game all over again. You can use this to encounter shiny legendaries, or shiny starters in some games, and just other in the overworld Pokemon. Fish chaining, okay? This is a shiny hunting method introduced in the Generation 6 games, and this is in X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, also known as consecutive fishing. In it, you just have to fish in the same spot for a long time without failing to encounter a Pokemon at each time. There are certain abilities that you can help with. I think suction cups with Octillery helps you get the fish easier. And when you just fish in a certain spot for a very long time, you will eventually encounter a shiny. That's the whole method, and it is also recommended to fish in like secluded spots. For some reason, it works for the game, so you just can't. You just shouldn't fish in like the middle of a lake. You should like in a corner. I'm not sure why this is, but that's just how it is. Dexnav is a shiny hunting method introduced in Generation 6 Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. If you use dexnav to encounter Pokemon, the odds depend on how many you have encountered of that Pokemon in total. And there is a lot of calculation for that one, but the highest odds come from you having encountered 999 of a certain Pokemon, and then you have much higher odds. There is no chain involved in dexnav hunting, which is kind of a myth. So it depends on the overall amount of Pokemon that you have encountered of that specific Pokemon. So if you have encountered 900 Wurmples and you use dexnav to encounter a Wurmple, the odds are high. but it does not matter if you have those 900 Wimples. Does not matter if you encounter Puchiena in the dexnav encounter. Then it looks at how many Puchienas have you encountered. Okay, next up is Shining and Gold Star Pokemon. This is what shiny Pokemon were called in the TCG before the term shiny became official. Like I just showed you, this Kyogre has this, can't really be seen, has a gold star next to its name, so it is a gold star. This is from Generation 3, and in Generation 2 they also had shiny Pokemon in the TCG, and back then they were known as Shining Pokemon. Unfortunately, I do not have an example of that one. Okay, next up is Square and Star Sparkles, or Glistening and Shining Sparkles. In the Generation 8 games, Sword and Shield, we actually have two variants of shiny Pokemon, and they differ by how the sparkle animations look like. We have the square sparkles and we have star sparkles, and they are more common using different methods. For example, if you want a star sparkle, you could do Masuda method, but if you just want to run around in grass, then you are more likely to encounter square sparkles. And the glistening and shining part comes from the Isle of Armor, where you can customize your pike to have like this trail. And this trail can be either stars or squares, but in game they are referred to as glistening and shining. So it is speculated that these shiny sparkles, by official names, are glistening and shining sparkles. Not a lot of people know that, but I just decided to put it there. It's speculated, it's not confirmed info, but yeah. Next up is shiny costume Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go, when there's like an event, they usually have Pokemon dress up in costumes, and those Pokemon can also be shiny. What is interesting and a bit unfortunate about these Pokemon is that they cannot be transferred due to their costumes to mainline games. I currently have two costume shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and they are unfortunately never going to befriend my other shiny Pokemon because they are just stuck there forever, unless Niantic fixes it, but I doubt it. Next up is shiny Pokemon as a term. As I mentioned, in Generation 2 and 3, they were referred in the TCG as Shining and Gold Star Pokemon. So when exactly did shiny Pokemon become an official term? Well, this was actually in Generation 5, Black and White, where a NPC trainer said that they have a shiny Krokorok, and that is the first time this term was used in an actual Pokemon game. Before that, it was just a fan term that people had for alternate colored Pokemon. Speaking of alternate colored Pokemon, there are alternate colored Pokemon that are not shiny. Famous examples of these are the purple Kecleon in the Mystery Dungeon games and the pink Butterfree in the Pokemon anime. Other guaranteed shinies in the games. As I mentioned, Red Gyarados is the most famous one, but there exist a few other ones. For example, in Black 2 and White 2, they had quite so many. They had in the Nature Preserve area that you can encounter when seeing all the Unova Pokemon, I think. I'm not sure about that. But if you go there, in the middle of the field, there is a shiny black Haxorus. And also, if you defeat like the Battle Tower of those games, you get either a shiny Gibble or a shiny Dratini, depending on your game. I think Dratini was in White 2 and Gibble was in Black 2. I could be wrong about that, but I should have the correct information on screen at this moment. Okay, finally we are moving to the Novice Shiny Hunter section. First is calculating shininess. How exactly do the Pokemon games calculate that the Pokemon comes shiny? Well, you have the information right here. It's a bit technical, bit mathematical. Calculating shininess was actually different in Generation 2, where it was depending on the individual values of a Pokemon. So shinies could have only a specific set of IVs that would make them shiny. And this actually leads to a pretty fun fact where the IVs also determine your gender, and if the Pokemon has any different forms, it also affects that. And the Pokemon that had the most amount of forms at that time was unknown. And interestingly, the only unknown that can be encountered as shiny were the unknown I and V. Okay, next up is the glitched murder method. Murder method is a fan term, not the actual term, because murder in Pokemon, naughty words. It is a glitched shiny hunting method in Generation 8, where the more you have defeated of a certain Pokemon, the higher the chances are for that Pokemon to appear shiny. However, due to a bug in the game, the increase in the shiny odds only appears about 3% of the time. Okay, moving on from the murder method. Pokemon Go shiny odds. This is something not a lot of people know about, because the Pokemon shiny odds in Go tend to vary by a lot. The base odds are about 1 in 500, and for certain Pokemon, the odds are perm boosted about 1 in 65. And then if you do raids, they are about 1 in 20, or 1 in 50, or 1 in 60. And during community days, they are about 1 in 25. So you can see why people are confused on what the shiny odds are in Pokemon Go, because they tend to vary by a lot. The mainline Pokemon games and Pokemon Go are actually not the only places you can encounter shiny Pokemon in. And one of the spin-offs that you can encounter shiny Pokemon in is the Mystery Dungeon series. You can encounter specific shiny Pokemon, like in the Explorers of Time and Darkness and Sky. You can encounter a shiny Celebi, which is part of the story. In Gates to Infinity, I think, you can encounter shiny Ho-Oh as one of the late game bosses. And in the newest one, Mystery Dungeon DX for the Nintendo Switch, you can encounter strong spawn shiny Pokemon, and you can recruit them as maybe, and you might be able to recruit them if you defeat them, but it's not guaranteed, which is a bit unfortunate, but they are not that hard to come across. Limited time shiny Meltan. Meltan you can encounter at basically any time in Pokemon Go, but only during certain events that Meltan you encounter can be shiny. There have only been 2 times that Meltan's shiny has been available, and that was when Let's Go released, and when Pokemon Home released. They had events where shiny Meltan was available. Okay, next up is the Odd Egg in Pokemon Crystal. This is an egg that the daycare people give you, and it's called Odd Egg in the game, and it has increased shiny odds. In the Japanese version, these odds are about 50%, and in the international versions, this is only 14%, but it's still much higher than the regular odds, which at the time were 1 in 8,192. The Pokemon that hatches from this egg is one of the baby Pokemon, and yeah, you can soft reset it if you want. Another spin-off that has shiny Pokemon in it is the first Pokemon Rumble game for the WiiWare, which is unfortunately not, you can't download it anymore. But in this game, you can just encounter shiny Pokemon naturally, like you usually do in the mainline games, and the odds for these ones are not known. but are speculated to be the same as in the 4th gen game, so 1 in 8,000. 192, you are much more likely to encounter shiny Pokemon in Rumble than the mainline games just because of the amount of Pokemon on screen at the same time. Okay, uncatchable shinies. Sometimes you encounter Pokemon that can be shiny, but you cannot capture them due to the lack of Pokeballs or some other weird stuff going on. These Pokemon include like shiny Poochyena and Zigzagoon in the 3rd gen games, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. You have shiny Poochyena and shiny Zigzagoon that you can encounter while choosing your starter in the first battle. And the same thing happens in, I think, Diamond and Pearl or Platinum, I'm not sure which one. You battle against a Starly, and this Starly can be shiny as well. Also in Fire Red and Leaf Green, the tutorial battle on how to catch a Pokemon, where the old man shows you how to catch a Weedle. That Weedle can be shiny. Wally's Ralts can be shiny when he first encounters it, but it doesn't stay shiny, unfortunately. Also, the Zigzagoon that Norman gives you, or gives Wally, while he tries to capture the Ralts, can be shiny. Moving on to Generation 5, which is the most hilarious one. In the World of Pokemon opening introduction to the game, the Minccino and the Cinccino that Professor Juniper shows you in Black and White and Black and White 2 can be shiny. And then in 6th gen, again, tutorial battle Pokemon can be shiny. And yeah, there is a lot of uncatchable shiny Pokemon, and it is very unfortunate if you actually encounter one. Sorry about that if you ever have. But at the same time, it's really funny. I think these Pokemon at least should be shiny locks. I am not against shiny locking all Pokemon. These definitely should be shiny locked in future releases, and I hope like the Generation 4 remakes will have the Starly at the beginning shiny locked. Otherwise, it would be funny, but really unfortunate. Okay, trainers with shiny Pokemon in the games. One of these is in Generation 7. You have this tourist that has a shiny Execute, and I think also in the Battle Frontier in Generation 3, you can encounter some trainers with shiny Pokemon, but there's not many shiny Pokemon for trainers, unfortunately. Shinies in Smash. In Smash Brothers, I am talking about, of course. It is a crossover fighting game with a lot of video game characters, and all of these characters have 8 color variants. But for some weird reason, shiny Pokemon are not often featured as these color variants. For example, Charizard does not have a black Charizard variant, Mewtwo does not have a green-tailed variant. There are a few color schemes that are close to being shiny Pokemon, but still it's odd that it's not the first thing that they would add logically, a shiny variant for Pokemon Fighter in Smash, but unfortunately that is for some reason not the case. Okay, phases. This is a shiny hunting terminology word, and this basically means if you are shiny hunting in a specific area, let's say you are in Route 1 of Sinnoh, or whatever the route was called. In the first route of Sinnoh, you are hunting for a shiny Starly, but then you encounter a shiny Bidoof instead. And you keep hunting, and then you encounter a shiny Starly. And the Bidoof is kind of like your phase 1, the first phase of your hunt. So if shiny hunters are talking about phasing or having a lot of phases, they mean that they encountered other shiny Pokemon that were not there.
Hey there, welcome to this small bonus round for my video. There are a couple of things I just forgot to film footage for that I was intending to be in the actual video. But first fact in this one is that mobile games that have had shiny Pokemon in them, and these are Pokemon Shuffle, Pokemon Duel, which is no longer available at all, hooray for live services, Pokemon Cafe Mix, which recently had shiny Celebi in celebration of that one Pokemon movie. Then Magikarp Jump, which has a golden Magikarp and a few other cameo shinies that can appear. Then Pokemon Masters, which you can get shiny Pokemon from eggs. And then lastly, Pokemon Quest, where you can hunt, I think, all 151 Pokemon. Then next is Clefairy in the Game Corner in Diamond and Pearl Platinum. In the Game Corner of Diamond and Pearl Platinum, you can play the slots, and during the slots, there is like this Clefairy background, and a Clefairy sometimes appears in the bottom screen, and that Clefairy sometimes has green ears, which is the shiny form of Clefairy. And then finally, in this bonus round, is that Pokemon Stadium nicknames. And what is special about Pokemon Stadium nicknames is that if you have a nicknamed Pokemon in Pokemon Stadium, it will have a slightly different coloring, whether or not it is shiny. So, for example, an Ekans without a nickname will just have the regular yellow eyes, but if it has a nickname, it will have red eyes. So that is really interesting. That is all for this bonus round that I'm filming while editing this. But yeah, let's get back to the regular video now. Bye.
Okay. Moving on finally to experienced shiny hunter tier. So first of all is Gen 1 shinies. You might be thinking, what are you talking about? Shiny Pokemon were only introduced in Generation 2. There are no shiny Pokemon in Generation 1. And while, yes, that is true, but at the same time, shininess in Generation 2 depended on the IVs, and if you transfer a Pokemon in Generation 1 that has that specific amount of IVs and transfer that to Generation 2, it will become shiny. So technically, there is a way to shiny hunt in Generation 1, but you can't see it otherwise than looking at the IVs and calculating the IVs from the stats. But yeah, you can shiny hunt in Generation 1, which is pretty cool. Okay, Pokemon Pelago shinies. This is not a shiny hunting method, but in Pokemon Pelago, which is this minigame area in Generation 7, you can encounter Pokemon, and just not a lot of people think about it, but this Pokemon can also be shiny. Another similar thing is Curry shinies in Generation 8. When you make curry in the Pokemon camp with your Pokemon, sometimes the curry that you make attracts Pokemon to your camp, and yes, those Pokemon can be shiny. Okay, the Ditto glitch. This has to do with the Generation 1 shininess thing. And if you transfer your shiny red Gyarados that you get in the Generation 2 games, you transfer that in Virtual Console or in regular Game Boy, transfer that over to Generation 1, it will have the shiny IVs. Now, if you go and encounter a Ditto and do this glitch where it uses Transform on you twice, that Ditto also becomes shiny, because the first time Ditto uses Transform, it like copies the stats and the appearance and the types and all. But if the Ditto uses Transform twice on a Pokemon, it also copies the stats. Why that is? Because Generation 1 is a glitchy mess, and I don't really know how to explain it further. But if you catch that Ditto then, when it has used Transform twice, it becomes shiny when you transfer it into Generation 2 games. Pretty cool. But now, why would you do this? Well, you just might want a shiny Ditto, which is, it's a pretty cool shiny, but there's also a good use for a shiny Ditto in Generation 2. This is one of the least known shiny hunting methods there is, and I call it the IV breeding. As I mentioned, the odds are significantly higher, going from 1 in 8,192 to 1 in only 64, and all you have to do IV breeding is have a shiny Pokemon as well, one of the other Pokemon. Okay, shiny Pokemon in the manga is kind of a obvious point, but it's just not something a lot of people talk about or even notice because manga is in black and white. But some Pokemon have appeared as shiny in the manga. For example, Red Gyarados and the Red Genesect. This guy over here. Okay, next up is Nobunaga's Rayquaza. This is from the game Nobunaga's Conquest X Pokemon, or rather known as Pokemon Conquest in the West. And the main villain of the game is Nobunaga, and his partner Pokemon just happens to be a shiny black Rayquaza. This shiny black Rayquaza was also given as events, and it's just cool to have a menacing shiny Rayquaza as like the final boss battle of the game. Okay, trading eggs, and this was fixed in Generation 8. It's kind of a shiny hunting method, but kinda also a weird glitchy thing in the games. But if you hatch a egg in, say, Generation 7, and you get a regular Pokemon, that Pokemon can be shiny if you reset it and transfer that egg or trade your egg to your friend. It can become shiny then, because shininess then depends on the ID and values of the person catching it. But in Generation 8, it locks to whoever obtained the egg. Okay, next up is the Q-Charm glitch, and this is a glitch in the Generation 4 games, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. If you get a very lucky set of ID and the secret ID, and you have a Pokemon using Q-Charm at the first place in your party, the amount of shiny Pokemon increases by a lot for weird technical reasons. But yeah, if you reset for a very specific ID and a secret ID that you cannot see in the game otherwise, you have to use other software to calculate the secret ID, and you have Q-Charm at the front of your party, shiny Pokemon become much more common. And this is only for Pokemon that can change gender. So most legendaries and Magnemites can't be shiny, and stuff like Vespiquen can't be shiny at all, because those don't change genders, and most legendaries don't even have a gender. I think Heatran can still be shiny, and the shinies appear only as the opposite gender of the Pokemon that you have first in your party. Say you have a male Pokemon at the first of your party, then only female Pokemon are much more likely as shinies. It's a very complicated topic, and I will put a link in the description for a video that explains how to do it and just explains it better in every way. Pokemon Rumble U had this capsule toy like Pokemon figures that you could get, and some of them were shinies. And unfortunately, for some reason, shiny Pokemon did not appear otherwise in Pokemon Rumble U, but you can only get them as NFC figurines. There are like Genesect, Pikachu, Eevee, and a few others that can be shiny. More on screen. I don't have a script for this video, so that's why I keep saying more on screen. Okay, Colosseum and XD Pokemon as shinies look a bit different. I'm not sure why this is, but for some reason shiny Pokemon just look different in the Generation 3 spin-off games, Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD.
For example, a Scizor, a shiny Scizor, would be normally green, but in Colosseum and at XD, it's yellow for some reason. And similar thing happens with Azumarill, which shiny Marill is green, but shiny Azumarill is usually yellow. But if you transfer it to Pokemon Colosseum, the shiny Azumarill is green also. It's weird, I'm not sure why this is. But yeah, that's a fact that not a lot of people know about. But if you want, there's a link in the description that shows all shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Colosseum, and you can see a lot of weird shinies in that video. Again, link in the description for that one. Next up is Colovar, which is a character in the Pokemon anime that is the first canonical appearance of a shiny hunter in any of the Pokemon mediums. Colovar, the name comes from color variation, is a guy Ash and friends encounter in the Pokemon Journeys season of the anime that has a shiny Psyduck, and then later on shows his like whole Pokedex where he has like shiny Bagon and a few other ones, and he says that yeah, I only catch alternate colored Pokemon with me because they're so cool. But yeah, okay, shiny less Pokemon that do not have a shiny variation. Currently there is none, but in generation 3 to generation 7, cast forms, weather forms did not have their own shiny form. This was fixed in Pokemon Go and the Generation 8 Pokemon Home application. And also in Generation 7, Magierna's regular form did not have a separate shiny form. These could still be shiny, but they just did not appear any different. Sparkles and all, but again, not looking different at all. Changed shinies. A lot of shinies have changed over time. The most recent one being Combuskin, that changed to be more noticeable. And a lot of these changes appeared in Generation 2 to 3 when the graphics changed. Like shiny Charizard used to be purple in Generation 2 but became black in Generation 3. And also I think one of the most interesting ones was Smeargle, which completely flipped its colors. The average Smeargle in Generation 2 used to be with a red tail, and the shiny used to have a green tail, but in Generation 3 and onward, these were flipped. So normal Smeargle had the green tail, but a shiny Smeargle had the red tail. Pretty interesting and weird. Okay, Pokken Tournament Player 2. Same thing as with the shinies in Smash. The Player 2 is differently colored in Pokken Tournament, another fighting game too, but for some reason the alternate colored forms are not the shiny forms usually. Okay, shiny shadow Pokemon remain shiny. This has been a myth in Pokemon Colosseum and XD. If you encounter a shiny shadow Pokemon, there was a myth that if you would purify those Pokemon, they could not be shiny anymore. And also, if you would encounter a regular shadow Pokemon, if you purified it, it might become shiny, but that is just not the case. That is just a myth that people had and a misconception for some reason. And in Pokemon Go, there's also shiny shadow Pokemon, but those just stay shiny. There's nothing weird rumors about those. Another shiny hunting terminology word is shino. This is not a shiny. This basically means like when you are hunting a lot and you just catch a Pokemon from the corner of your eye, you think it's shiny, get that little dopamine rush, but then you keep your eye on it and then it's, just regular Pokemon, but you kind of thought it was shiny for that brief moment, and that's what shiny hunters call a shino. Shiny hunting community events. There's a pretty good shiny hunting community on YouTube, and they have like certain events. For example, Safari Week
They have Rumble Weekend, where you try to get as many shiny Pokemon in the Pokemon Rumble game that I talked about previously, and a lot of fun other events too. I do recommend checking those out. I have unfortunately never participated in those, but I'm sure if you want to look at them then or participate in them, just go ahead. They are really, really fun. Shiny Arceus. It's a bit. It's another myth that people have that if you do the Arceus event in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, that the Arceus would be shiny locked. It is not, but the event cannot be done with legitimate means because the Azure Flute that you require in order to do the event has never been officially revealed. But if you get that item via action replay or cheat codes and go encounter Arceus in Generation 4 Diamond Pearl Platinum, it is not shiny locked and you can hunt it if you want to. Okay, finally to the last tier. You have no life, but don't worry, neither do I. And these are the most obscure facts that I found. First of all is Shiny Error Pikachu. This is the Ash Hat Pikachu that you can get in Generation 7 games via a QR code. You can go encounter it in the Pikachu Valley, and it was meant to be shiny locked. However, the shiny lock depends on like the ID of the original trainer and not your trainer. So if you happen to have the same ID as the event trainer, it is shiny locked, but otherwise it is not. And this Pokemon does not have its own shiny sprite. It's also one of those shinyless Pokemon that I talked about, and I think it can be transferred further. I'm not entirely sure about what. But yeah, there's a shiny Pokemon. It has sparkles and everything, but it doesn't look different. Pretty weird. It's a Arrow Shiny Pikachu. Next up is Berry Glitch Zigzagoon. In Generation 3 games, there was this glitch called the Berry Glitch, often referred to as the Berry Glitch, that kinda if the game ran out of battery, you could not grow berries anymore or something like that. But if you, and back then you did not have Wi-Fi, so you would have to get the game patched otherwise. But if you did, then Nintendo Game Freak, whoever made that patch, you would get a shiny Zigzagoon as a reward. And this is basically the first time shiny Pokemon were used in events. Okay, next up is another event, kinda. I think unknowns in Generation 3, Fire Red and Leaf Green, you could only encounter unknowns via unlocking the place with the e-reader, maybe. Information on screen, again. But if you encountered unknowns in Fire Red and Leaf Green, they had different shiny odds depending on their form. They could be as low as 1 in 500, but 1 in 5,000. They could be as low as 1 in 5,000, which the regular odds were 1 in 8,192, but they can go way above 1 in 10,000 as well, and there is no way that you can check which shiny unknown has different odds. So that was weird. The first shiny locked Pokemon in the Pokemon games. A lot of people have this misconception that shiny locking became a thing in Generation 5, but that is not the case. The first shiny locked Pokemon in Pokemon games was the spiked ear Pichu in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's coded to always be female, never to be shiny. And it is an event that you can capture yourself, but it is shiny locked, it can never be shiny. It definitely shiny locking became more common in Generation 5, but that is not where it started. Okay, shiny Pokemon that freeze your game. This is a very, very rare but unfortunate thing that can happen to you in Generation 4 Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. At some points during the game, you have another person following you around, and when that happens, all of the wild encounters become double battles. Now, if you encounter two Pokemon at the same time that happen to be shiny and of the same species, the animations are supposed to play at the same time, but unfortunately, the game cannot handle two shiny sparkles happening at the same time if the animations were to occur at the same time because they are the same species, then the game crashes. But yeah, this is very unlikely because you would have to encounter two shiny Pokemon at the same time and to have them be both the same species. But if this happens, it will immediately crash your game. Very, very unfortunate. And the last fact is how shinies were decided. This is something basically no one knows because it has never been given out information. We know that Generation 6 afterwards, the shiny Pokemon were decided by the designers of Pokemon, but not the people who decided those certain Pokemon. For example, James Turner designed Golurk, but he did not decide shiny Golurk. And it's just, we do not know how shiny Pokemon were decided. There's this misconception that shiny Pokemon were like the next available color pattern, but a lot of Pokemon changed from Generation 2 to Generation 3, and in just looking at like the Charizard line, it doesn't make sense. Charmander, orange, but shiny is golden. Charmeleon, red, but the shiny is golden. Charizard, the same orange as Charmander, but the shiny is now black. It doesn't make sense. And that is just something we do not know at all how shiny Pokemon were decided. And I'm not sure if we will ever really find out. But that is finally all that I had to say about shiny Pokemon. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this, please comment, like, and subscribe, and share this video. Share it with your mailman, share it with your significant other, share it with your unsignificant other, and just everyone you know, because it really helps with the algorithm, and I like doing these videos. But that said, hope you have a good day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.